You guys, have you ever considered how more than likely, depending on maybe where you're at, where your family's at, what your marital status is, or what your job is, it is very probable that your longest conversations, or maybe even your most frequent conversations, actually happen silently. Like you're ever on social media and you read what people say, and you're like, okay, I have seen this thought, I have seen this, seen, read, but you haven't actually physically heard the people who have said those thoughts actually saying them. I can say that about you guys in the comment section, except for two people I can actively think of who I actually know outside of here. I have never heard some of you people's voices, and anything that you have ever shared with me, anything that you have ever told me about, I remember. It's a part of my memories, but it's something that took place silently. And there's a lot of conversations that I have had with people who I actually know in person that happen over text, and then I see them in person, and we can pick up on that conversation. The context has already been laid, but it's just crazy that started without it verbally starting. But even crazier to me is that you didn't handwrite it. I can understand memories being created from you reading a handwritten letter because your own handwriting is like your own artistic voice, and actually seeing it on a page, seeing how the person wrote it, what color they wrote it, what kind of paper they wrote it. You probably even remember the smell of that paper. Same thing with me as the composer. I remember how I wrote it, what my handwriting was like, what color I chose, what paper I chose. That helps me reinforce the memory. But with most of my conversations nowadays that I have on my phone's text background and perhaps the comment section, you guys are now the strangers that maybe in the olden days I may have started a conversation with out there in the wild like we're supposed to. Are you ever aware of that? Are you ever aware of how some of your influences may have happened silently? You received information, which you can do through the power of reading books, but direct influences from people, the way we consume that, is now different, especially how more people have easier access to you, and you're more likely to hear from varying sources, varying influences. And I think that's both neat but also scary, because how do you manage that? I personally handle it well because I never allow for anything to intrude in my, I guess, routine. Maybe that's one of my gifts as an individual with a fixed sign astrologically, which is you can't break my routine. I bring order, planning, and all those things. But when I take a second to think about this very deep and critically, it's crazy. It's cool but crazy. Can you imagine talking to one of your ancestors who didn't see any of this and trying to explain it to them? What would they react like? They would probably laugh at you, or probably send you to some clinic thinking you're crazy. Some may value the creativity, but some may treat you like you might be crazy or some shit. I think it's cool, but I think it's something that you gotta manage. It's a new way of living, new influences assaulting us that we don't have a precedent for. Therefore, you gotta be careful with it. Okay, that's it. Bye. Bye. Bye.